You wake up and the first thing you feel is a heavy weight in your chest. It is the weight of unpaid bills and the quiet fear that your financial future is slipping away from you. You look at your bank account and see a number that never seems to grow enough to quiet the ghosts of your anxiety. Most people believe that to gain wealth they need more luck or a faster connection to the stock exchange. They believe that the chaos of the world is their personal enemy. But the real enemy is the chaos inside your own mind. You are reacting to every headline and every minor drop in the market index. This reactive state is a prison that keeps you poor. By mastering your internal state, you can transform from a victim of the economy into a ruler of your own capital. Today, we look at a man who appeared to be pure chaos on the outside, while maintaining a rigid and cold discipline over his assets. You will learn that the noise of the world is irrelevant if your internal balance sheet is solid. Steve Ballmer took the lead of a tech giant during a period of total global uncertainty. For an entire decade, the stock price of Microsoft was a flat line that refused to move despite the growth of the company. The media called him a failure and a buffoon. They mocked his loud voice and his physical intensity. Imagine being responsible for the net worth of millions of shareholders, while the entire world laughs at your every move. You have likely felt this same anxiety when your own investments do not perform, or when your salary feels insufficient for the dreams you have built. Ballmer watched as his competitors were praised as visionaries, while he was ignored as a mere salesman. But he stayed focused on the fundamentals. He tripled the annual revenue. He grew the cash flow to levels the world had never seen before. He understood that the market value of a company is often a temporary lie, but the profit margin is a permanent truth. Most people fail in their financial life because they care about the lie of status more than the truth of their own ledger. They spend money they do not have to buy things they do not need to impress people who do not even like them. Ballmer did not care about the noise of the crowd. He cared about the enterprise value. He focused on what he could control, which was the operational efficiency of the machine he led. Your life is that machine. If you are constantly looking at what others think of your car or your house, you are neglecting your own financial infrastructure. The tension of the world is a constant force, but it only breaks those who have no internal structure to lean on. Ballmer used the external chaos as a shield. He allowed the world to underestimate him while he secured the market dominance of his products. This is the secret to lasting wealth. You must be willing to look like a fool in the short term to become a master in the long term. The anxiety you feel about the interest rates or the inflation is a distraction from the work you should be doing on your own savings rate. A leader does not cry about the weather. A leader builds a shelter that can withstand the storm. You must decide if you want to be the person who reacts to the economy or the person who builds an economy of their own. Epictetus taught us that it is not external things that disturb us, but our judgment about those things. When your portfolio drops by 10%, that is just a data point on a screen. The pain you feel is a choice you are making in your mind. Seneca said that we suffer more in our imagination than we ever do in reality. You imagine a life of poverty every time there is a hint of an economic downturn. This is a massive waste of your mental capital. Think of your income as a raw material like stone or wood. A sculptor does not get angry at the stone for being hard. He simply works with it until it takes the shape he desires. Marcus Aurelius governed an empire while facing a plague that devastated the Roman treasury. He did not complain about the lack of resources. He used what was available to stabilize the state and protect his people. You must treat your personal finance like a sovereign state. Your savings are your defense budget. Your investments are your trade routes. Your spending is your internal policy. If you allow your emotions to run your internal policy, your state will collapse into debt and ruin. Zeno of Citium understood that the goal of life is to live in agreement with the laws of nature. In the world of finance, nature is the cycle of expansion and contraction. You cannot stop a recession any more than you can stop the winter from coming. But you can store grain during the summer months. You can accumulate liquidity when the economy is booming, so that you can survive when the frost comes for everyone else. The internal control of the mind is the only true insurance policy you will ever have in this life. It costs you nothing to acquire, but it is worth more than any gold reserve on the planet. When you separate your self-worth from your net worth, you gain the ability to make rational decisions that others cannot. You stop chasing bubbles and you stop fleeing from corrections. You become a silent observer of the market rather than a victim of its volatility. This is the essence of Stoic leadership applied to the world of money. It is the ability to remain unmoved while the world around you is screaming in terror or greed. To apply this wisdom to your daily finances, you must first master your cash flow with brutal honesty. You must know exactly where every single cent is going without exception. If you do not track your expenses, you are living in a fog of your own making, and you deserve the stress you feel. Create a system that prioritizes your future self over your current desires. This means paying yourself first as a fixed rule. Before you pay the landlord or the utility company, you must pay your investment accounts. This is not an act of greed, but an act of supreme self-respect. If you focus on your internal control, write wealth in the comments. Next, you must eliminate the pull of consumer debt. High interest rates are a tax on your lack of discipline and a chain around your neck. Every time you carry a balance on a credit card, you are selling your freedom to a bank. Break this cycle by building a small emergency fund immediately. This is your first layer of protection against the chaos of life. Once you have that foundation, you can begin to aggressively acquire income-producing assets. Do not seek the next hot stock or a quick gain in a volatile asset class. Seek intrinsic value. Seek companies and assets that have a history of generating returns regardless of what the headlines say. Automate these investments so that your emotions cannot interfere with the process of compounding. A ruler does not debate his guards every morning on whether they should protect the palace walls. The protection is a given. Your wealth building must also be a given. Finally, practice voluntary discomfort in your daily life. Occasionally spend a week spending as little as possible on anything other than survival. Remind yourself that you can survive and even thrive on very little. This removes the fear of loss and gives you the power to say no to lifestyle creep. When you no longer need luxury to feel worthy, you become truly dangerous in the global market. You have a competitive advantage over everyone who is a slave to their own desires. You can wait for years for the right investment opportunity because you are not hungry for a quick win to pay for a new toy. This is how the quiet mentors of wealth operate. They build their portfolios in the shadows while others are dancing in the light of temporary success. The journey to financial independence is a test of your character more than it is a test of your intelligence. It is easy to be a leader when the economy is perfect, and everyone is getting rich on speculation. The true test is who you are when the world is in a state of total chaos. Steve Ballmer showed that you can be loud, you can be misunderstood, and you can be mocked by every expert in the room. But as long as your internal logic is sound, you will eventually prevail. You must strip away the ego that demands you look successful to the outside world. Focus instead on the quiet strength of a growing net worth and a clear conscience. Remember that your money is a direct reflection of your choices, and your choices are a reflection of your mind. If your mind is a storm of impulses, your finances will be a wreck of liabilities. If your mind is a fortress of logic, your wealth will be a legacy that lasts for generations. Subscribe to Money and Stoicism to master your finances and your mind. Like this video if you seek true freedom. I appreciate your focus and your commitment to this path of personal development. Every step you take today is a solid brick in the foundation of your future sovereignty. Continue to refine your perspective and build your financial empire with the patience of a sage and the precision of a ruler. How much of your current spending is actually an attempt to buy the approval of people who do not truly matter to you? Watch this next video to continue your journey toward total mastery of your mind and your money.